which I believe was an astral projection experience, my first one with you, where I had met my uncle. And when I met him, he was in full color. It was beautiful. The colors were like beautiful, like nothing you see here on Earth. It was like you can't explain it. It was just brilliant, bright, and different colors.
Hi, Jeff. So you just completed my 12 weeks program, and I'm really curious to hear how it's been. And first of all, I'm curious to hear where you were at in the beginning before you started the program.
Okay, so before I started the program, I did have a couple experiences, astral travel experiences, but they were I was not able to control it. I was not able to. They were random. It would happen without me knowing, just subconsciously. One night I'd be floating above my body, and then I tried to reproduce it and I couldn't. So then I saw your
Hmm.
program, and it looked more structured to try to nail down specific times, specific techniques and methods to increase my success rate. And that would not make it so random. So that's why that all happened before I joined your program. And you know, when I joined your program, everything is more structured. So
So it happened like when you were a kid. Did it happen when you were an adult as well? Like these random experiences?
not that I remember. I was not aware until probably about a month before I joined you. I was not. I've been doing a lot of spirit work, inner work, and stuff like that. So it started coming all back to me. But when I was younger, it happened to me like twice that I remember, two experiences that I can put my finger
Okay.
on. Yeah.
Right. So you knew it was possible. And then now you start to think about, maybe I can do it now as well as an adult. And then you saw the program and you decided to join. Right. How was your experience with the program?
Oh, right from the get-go, working on my vision board. I really enjoyed that. I spent the whole weekend putting together a vision board that you taught me how to do.
And it's
Which,
just behind you, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
I can see it from here.
that's my vision
It's a
board.
very lovely vision board.
Yeah, every morning I look at that, and I pretty much have it memorized now. I enjoy looking at it. I enjoy the soundtrack that you built for me, which is really cool. I enjoy that a lot. I sometimes listen to it 3 times a day, and that was that was right from the beginning. That was like the first week, I think, that I joined, and you
Yeah.
were telling us to build a vision board. So right from the get-go, Florentine, I was excited. I was really into the program. In the first part of the program was dream, which was indirect method that you were training us how to do, which was how to take your dream and turn it into a astral experience, astral projection. So I was really excited, and I noticed after doing all this, my vision board and putting work and time into it, my dreams went from like 2-page or 1-page dreams to 5-page detailed dreams. My dreams were off the charts. My
Yeah,
dreams
I
that,
remember
and
your
I'll tell you what,
posting.
they could have been astral experiences for all I knew. You know what I mean? I just, they were that detailed. They were so real. I even explained one to you where it was so real. I don't want to go into it again because I ended up spraying myself with water, and I thought in the dream, this can't be a dream. It has to be a dream. I'm dreaming. I'm going to spray myself with water. And it was as real as this reality. It was that real. And I said, this is crazy. This has got to be a dream. And I kept, so I kept trying to do that in my dream. And then I ended up scaring somebody, an individual in the dream, and that really woke me up. Like this ain't a dream. This is real. It,
Something more than a dream. Okay.
yeah. So my dreams were
He
like
was
off the chart.
right. So that sounds like a lucid dream that you had there.
Yeah, I had
Or
a
maybe,
number of them.
yeah, you had a number of lucid dreams and you had asked projections as well. And can you share some of your experiences that were more sort of profound to you that you had
Yeah,
in the program?
yeah. Well, doing the ID method, I'll share two with you. When I was doing the
Sure.
ID method, um, I went to bed using your bedtime meditation soundtrack. I am lucid dreaming. I am lucid dreaming, which is awesome, awesome soundtrack. and I fall asleep to that. And so that's the last thing my mind remembers when I go to sleep. So I did that, and I had a dream, which I believe was an astral projection experience, my first one with you, where I had met my uncle. And when I met him, he was in full color. It was beautiful. The colors were like beautiful, like nothing you see here on Earth. It was like you can't explain it. It was just brilliant, bright, and different colors. And so I met him. We told each other we loved each other, all that stuff. And first thing I did was I said, "Can I see your hands? I need to, do a reality check here." He started laughing at me. What are you talking about? Reality check? Well, I need to, that's what we're trained for when we're doing astral travel. He's just started laughing. And so the experience went on, and he actually showed me a book of his new life. And I couldn't understand it because it was written in a different language or something. It was very detailed, and he showed it to me, and I don't remember all of it, but what I do remember is he's living somewhere in like Guatemala or something like that, down in, was that like Mexico or South America, somewhere in that area. And as I turned myself from my uncle over to this little boy, I realized that this little boy was him in this life now. My uncle passed away, I don't know, decades ago. So this little boy must have been like early teen, maybe 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there, maybe, somewhere around 12, I would say. Looked like a Mexican, a little Mexican kid, brown hair, brown eyes, understood me. And I explained to him that we were astral traveling. He knew that we were astral traveling, which was I thought was pretty smart. So we went back to his house where he lived. And he was in his bedroom sleeping. Maybe, I guess he was astral traveling. He was sleeping, right? So I get there. We're in his bedroom, and I looked at him. I said, "Look at, I can see through the walls. I see a mother cooking spaghetti shells or something. You're gonna have."
You can see through the walls.
Yeah, I could see I could see his mother cooking. Yeah, it was.
So you had like an X-ray vision at that point.
Yes.
You can look through walls. Yeah, and that's something that sometimes it happens, that you can see through walls.
Yep.
And at the same time, you were with the child version of him.
Yes, in this life.
Next to you.
In this life.
In this life.
My uncle's not my uncle anymore. He's a Mexican area, in a little apartment, 1-bedroom apartment, I think. I don't think he's rich or anything. I think he's down there. And it was just a great experience. I really enjoyed it.
And you said you wanted to share one more. We have time for one more.
There was another one. For the longest time, I couldn't. I get to the vibrational stage with your program, and I just couldn't get out of my body. And I would get it. I'd get to the vibrational stage quite a bit, actually, quite often. And I had this fear that if I rolled out of my bed, because sometimes I went up to bed early, and my wife stayed down, and I practiced up in my bed, and I have an inclined bed that I can incline. So I would practice up there, and I'd get to the vibrational state, and I wouldn't go any further for some reason. I just couldn't get out. I didn't know how to get out. So you're coaching. You just said, you just got to kind of roll over or get, just when you get to that point, you're already almost out of your body. Just intentionally move. So I finally had this one experience one night where I broke that. I finally was able to leave my body after the vibrational state. And I listened to the D method, and it didn't work that night, but I went to bed. After I went to bed, it felt like somebody was taking over my body, like I was becoming possessed, and I was vibrating. I'm like, oh crap, this is it. Don't get too excited, chill out. All right, think about what you're gonna do, Jeff. I'm hooked up to a mask, because I have a breathing machine. So my fear was, if I roll over, it felt like so real that my mask would fall on the ground and everything would break, right? So I said, to hell with it. I don't care. At this point, I'm just gonna do it. And as I did it, I ended up I didn't end up on the side of my bed. I ended up at the end of my bed. So looking at me. So I was standing about 10 feet away from my bed, looking at me. When I actually lifted out, I ended up there in a snap. You know what I mean? So it was looking at me, and
So
that
you
was
see
really
yourself,
cool.
you saw yourself lying in the bed.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
And I thought I would
Wow.
do some experimenting, right? So I went over there. First of all, I saw my wife, her astral body, just standing by the bed. If I didn't want her to see me, I didn't want to startle her, right? So I see her astral body there. And it looked like she was lost, like she was just standing there, like unconscious. I don't know what was going on. I didn't want to bother her, but I crouched down. I was afraid she was going to see me. So I crouched down on the floor and I went over to my foot and I touched my foot. And as I touched my foot, static, I get like a static shock. And that was pretty cool. Like you know what I mean? And so I
That's
backed off and I started losing awareness. I'm like clarity now, vision now. And then it came right back to me. And then the experience continued on. I ended up going downstairs to my living room. I have a rail on. I slid down there like a little kid, went down there and I went out the window. And then I ended up in I went out my living room window and it's like a door, actually. It's a door. It's a glass door, like a French door. And I ended up someplace I didn't even know where I was. I ended up in somebody's room with a monkey in a cage, and it was a bedroom. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? You know, I got to get out of here. I don't know who this place is, right? So I could hear somebody come up the stairs. I'm like, I got to get out of here. So I went through the door, and as I was going down the stairs, these two guys coming up the stairs, and I whooshed right by them, like, and one looked at the other and said, "Did you feel that? Like a ghost?" They could feel my presence moving by them as they were coming up the stairs. It was really kind of cool. You know, I wasn't trying to scare them or anything, but that was an
yeah.
experience. That was a long experience. It was very vivid, and you know, it was pretty cool. You know, but it all happened because you coached me into saying, just do it. You know, just do it. Don't be afraid. Just do it. And I finally did. And it was, you know, after the D method, I went to bed and I started vibrating. Probably about 10 minutes right after. It happened like
Great, great.
quick.
When you say that you felt like you were possessed, did you afterwards realize that you weren't
Right.
possessed?
What it it felt like somebody was in my body. It was my energy body. It felt like somebody was in my body, but it was me. It was me possessed. You
Yeah.
know, it was me. And I
You were
realized
possessing
that
yourself.
I had enough sense to think, oh, this is it. You know, this is the vibrational state. I can feel it. Like, and I'm like, I gotta just leap out, you know, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
I finally did it.
Right.
And I was so excited, you know. It was a good moment.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I really love that you were out of body, you saw your body, which is that classical experience.
Yep.
And then you went up to your toe and you grabbed your toe and you felt on your physical body, you felt something touching your toe, like electricity.
I felt it in my astral body. I felt a shock from my astral body. I felt it. I felt the connection, you know, right when I touched my toe, like right through the blanket too. It was weird. I went and grabbed it, and that's when I felt the little shock, and I'm like, oh crap, I better back off. And then I started losing awareness. I'm like, wait a minute, you know, clarity now, vision now. I demanded it, and bam, it came right back. You know what I mean? It was really cool to control
Cool.
that.
And then you said you went past these people and they felt your presence.
They did.
But they didn't see you, right?
No.
But they felt something. And that's interesting because a lot of times when I projected, in some places, like, people don't see you, and I can wave, you know, my hand in front of them, like, hey, hello, I'm here. And well, if I don't speak, if I'm just like, but if I say something, for some reason, a lot of times they hear the sound and they freak out. So if I go, hello, you know, they just go like, what was that? Like, they get really freaked out. So I probably scared a couple of people in different astral places, because they can simply not see you in some dimensions because you're not in the same vibrational match. But it's fascinating because you're technically like a ghost flying around, exploring, going through walls, going through doors. And how liberating doesn't that feel when you're just floating around, you know, like,
It's I try to tell I try to tell my wife, I try to explain it. It's tough to explain without you have to experience it to really understand it. You know what I mean? You really have to
yeah,
experience it. But I can't say it's like being Superman. It's almost like being, I get x-ray vision. I can hear for miles. I can see like hundreds of miles. I remember going up on my house one night and just looking out over the trees, and I could see over the ocean. I could see far. You know what I mean? It's just incredible. You can float, you can fly. You know, you can go through walls. I actually saw
yeah.
my dogs one night. Their spirit. They actually, we caged them at night, and they actually came out of their cage. And I wasn't thinking because I was in my astral body, and I'm like, you guys aren't supposed to be out. Well, it was their spirit that came out. So I didn't realize it until after I woke up and I wrote all this all down. I'm like, wait a minute. My one dog was barking, but nobody woke up. You know what I mean? This is their astral
Astral body,
bodies.
yeah, you
Yeah,
know, animals can astral project too, and they do at
yeah,
night, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, we
So
don't look at each other the same anymore. My dogs look at me, it's different now. I swear.
they know that you know.
Yeah,
They look at you like, hey, I know that you can go out of body too.
yep. It was that was an experience, but yeah, I mean, so you feel like you feel like Superman. The experience is very liberating, and there's some wisdom to be learned there as well. So
Yeah.
just to know you've proven to yourself that you are a spirit. You know what I mean? That you have a spirit, that you have an energy body that will live on
That you're
forever.
more,
Yeah.
yeah, that you're more than your physical body.
Yep. Yep. That
You
alone,
do-
that proof right there is just incredible. Again, priceless. Really is.
Yeah. So do you feel like you when you think about death, physical death, do you feel like that's a are you sort of has this changed anything for you?
I don't
Does it
fear
feel
death.
different?
I don't fear. I really don't fear anything. When you have that kind of experience, I mean, what's it? It's actually the experience. I explain it to my wife. I said, look, that experience is actually more real than this experience, than this life right here. It's actually your senses are more heightened. You're more aware of things. It's more real to me when I astral travel than I am in this reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the dream, you know what I mean? And that's the reality. Um, it's just, and as far as death, I mean, there's proof right there that I'm not going to die. I'm a spirit, I'm a, my life will live
Wow.
on forever.
Yeah, that's really a priceless feeling.
Yep.
Sometimes people talk about how you know what you can do with astral projection in terms of healing, and I think that this is probably one of the biggest things, that the fact that you heal your fear of dying, or you heal the fear of worrying about these, what can happen when you pass away, or that it's a bad thing when you die, it's a bad thing, and you're gone, or just yeah, just it's a really healing feeling to know that the universe is so much more than what you've been told.
Yep.
There's so much more magic in the world suddenly, right?
Agreed.
And that's a healing
Yep.
feeling.
Yep. Yep. And when I do astral travel, I look at my hands and I'm just in awe. I'm like, this is really cool. It's a really cool experience. It's so I've had probably about half dozen of them with your program, which is pretty cool. And I'm still working on it. I'm another good thing about your program. I'm a lifetime member, so I can go right through the program, right over again, just keep ingraining it in my head and keep working on it. And so
Yeah, and you have access to all the updates as
yep,
well, all the new updates, the new soundtracks, new
yep,
material. It's an ongoing evolution, and yeah, it is the end of the program, but you still have access to it. So it's a continuation,
yep,
and it's really the start of your
yes,
experiences,
yes,
of your
yep,
journeys. Now it's a lot of up to you to keep the discipline and keep practicing, and keep reaching higher and higher states of consciousness and experiences and all of that.
yep.
So that's really cool.
Actually,
So,
I wanted to just say one more thing. One time I had a dream that you were coaching me in my dream, and you
that's
told me to
cool.
leave my body, and it went right out, bam. And I had an actual experience like that. You were actually coaching me in my dream to come out and astral project, that was pretty cool. That
Yeah,
was
I was
different.
doing some overtime, that day. I was I was doing some overtime. Thought I would come and help you.
it was that was a fun experience too. But yeah, I listen. I'm grateful for everything you've done for me, Florentine, and I really appreciate everything. Thank you.